All right. All right.
I'm going to start because
Yes.
Andy just talked. Anyway, I brought an NES game, so
Yay,
finally
NES new.
I'm gone from all the micros and weird Ataris and stuff.
I'm very
go
proud of
back
you,
to
Guido.
my-
I'm very proud. I thought you would never abandon the Game Boy, but you did. So really good. Well done.
Actually, the Game Boy games, I feel it slowed down the development of Game Boy games, but maybe I'm just not looking at the right places. Or maybe they're trying to make Game Boy games a bit more deep. I feel they will release this year, but I haven't seen one which catches my eye. But this one did. It's an NES game. It's called Data Man.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you've seen it.
I've actually played it as well to have a look.
Oh, nice!
Yeah.
It's also published by Broke Studio, so you may know it from that. They have a physical release. It's released when we're recording. It was released like a month ago.
Yeah.
So it's really new. It's made by Dark Bits. That's the company name, but it's actually Olaf Nasen, I think you say it like that. Per Larsen and Ted Steen.
Right.
3 persons. And it's like wow, what was the game again? The game is very reminiscent of Smash TV. If you know that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
So it's a top-down shooter, a bit like Xeno Crisis. We also did the show on.
Yeah.
So it's top-down. You have one screen. You are a little soldier, and you're fighting off bugs, which come into the screen. Which sounds very boring, maybe. But the cool thing of this game is that you're defending your own console.
So yes. I'm very looking forward to what you're going to say because I've got lots of questions.
So the levels are designed like an overhead of sort of a PCB or like a motherboard or something. And in the center of the levels is a CPU, which is...
It'll be your NES, won't it? It will be the NES.
It should be a NES, but yeah, it's of course sort of
made up a bit.
It took some liberties of what it is. So that CPU, it actually says 2A07. So maybe that's the CPU of the NES. I don't know.
Interesting.
But there's several bugs which will attack either the CPU. And there's also bugs which will attack you. So some bugs will beeline that CPU, and others will follow you. The goal of this game is to defend that CPU. So those bugs, if they arrive at your CPU, they start, sort of eating it, I think. Or
bugs eating CPU.
Yeah, or they're at least attacking it. And every time when they attack, the screen also glitches out because, of course, your CPU is getting attacked. So the screen always shakes and it glitches when your CPU deteriorates.
Yeah, that effect's really good. I really like it. Yeah, I actually I did have a go at it on CRT, and I thought it was a CRT. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
For a moment.
But even it's very convincing on LCD, I think.
Yeah.
Actually, you can't get hurt yourself. So if you get touched by a bug, it isn't that terrible. The only thing is you get stunned for a little, so you can't shoot at that moment. So you have 2 weapons. You can shoot in a straight line, or you can even do the diagonals. But also you can throw grenades, but those are limited. Every time when you kill an enemy, they drop either sort of power pellet, or those come in a small and a big variant, or they drop a grenade. So that's the way you can replenish those grenades. Those power pellets refill a meter in the top of your screen, and that meter is split in 2 pieces.
Okay.
If you if you replenish that first half of that meter, your weapon gets stronger, so you get a stronger weapon. You shoot like bigger blast and it's more powerful.
Yeah.
Also, when it's fully full, then you can hit. Yeah, when the bar is totally full, then you can press the start button. So this is similar like full quiet, and also Batman on the NES. They use the start button as an extra button. So be aware if you're not using an NES controller that it's really weird to hit that start button.
I was using PlayStation and I couldn't understand. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to remount that button then. I use my Saturn controller, which works very nicely on this game, by the way. But then you have to press the start button, and then you go in overdrive mode, which is really strong weapon, and you can shoot for a very long time, because that weapon has a sort of reload. You also have a second meter on your screen, which is your ammunition, or what's in your gun.
Yeah.
So every time you can just and press the button and hold it, and you shoot like a sort of like a
machine gun.
And when your meter is down, then you can't shoot anymore for a while, and then you have to reload. You can also, in between, you can just let loose of your button, and then it reloads as well. So you have to be aware not to just keep your button pressed, but be aware and to not not shoot willy-nilly. Also, that meter, when you get touched by an enemy, that meter goes down. So
there's lots of mechanics here, isn't there? Because
right. For example, if you're upgraded, your weapon is upgraded, and you get touched by an enemy, your weapon gets downgraded, and then you get like the snowball effect, because you also get more and more waves of enemies.
Yeah.
And it really gets busy on the screen, because the sprites are really tiny. I think the tiniest as you can get, a bit like micro mages.
Yeah.
And the screen gets really crowded with little enemies walking around, and they also have like a really weird pattern. Sometimes you think they will go right away at you, but sometimes they sort of flee as well if they get shot, which is really interesting. But you have to be sort of tactical about it sometimes. And after some waves of enemies, then you complete the level. So I think maybe it takes 2 minutes per level or something to clear out all those waves.
Yeah.
When you beat that level, the level design changes. So that's basically the gist of it. Of course, then you think, okay, is that it? And it basically is, but there's quite a plenty of enemy types, which is cool.
Yeah.
Some just
bounce
around, some shoot sort of bullets all around. You have to dodge. It almost gets like a shmup at that point.
Huh, that's interesting.
Because there are all bullets all over the place. You have to dodge those. And there's also, every 5 levels there's a boss level, which is also very interesting. There's a huge boss.
So what's the boss like?
Screen. It reminds me a bit like Metroid or something, like a slimy big brain enemy, which is like a third of the top screen or something. And that boss, it shoots like a laser out of his eye directly onto the CPU sometimes. You have to shoot him in the eye as well. And all the bosses are different. Some bosses shoot projectiles at you, and You have to dodge those. But there's also a lot of enemies on the screen which also attack that CPU. So you have to be careful about those as well. That's basically the bosses. They get more complicated later in the game. There's also on some of the motherboards there's like broken down capacitors or something.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If you shoot those, they will explode. So you can
like in real life.
Yeah, but you can use those as a weapon as well.
Yes.
So because there's like an explosion radius, and it gets crazier and crazier. Some at later levels, you get dark stages or invisible enemies. You get like sometimes the screen just glitches to another weird vision or something, a little other level, or it gets really like glitchy and weird.
It's done very well. I really like it.
Yeah, and the fun thing is when your CPU gets destroyed, it's like a sort of computer crash happening. So when you get game over, the whole game crashes out, and you get all kind of error messages in the screen. And the first time I saw that, I was like, "What happens here?"
So you need to reload completely. Or?
No. If you press start, then you can restart. Fortunately, it's also a two-player game, so you can make it even more crazy, even more sprites on the screen, which is pretty impressive. I think.
I was going to say exactly that. Like, I think it's the amount of stuff moving for the NES is good. Maybe it takes advantage of the fact that it's a single screen and you don't really scroll, but there's a lot of stuff going on there.
Right. It's sometimes because this game has not a lot of variety in graphics and also not really in music. So it looks pretty basic, but the gameplay changes up all the time, and and it gets really crazy on the screen. So in one way, I think it feels a bit like the early NES games because of the not many variety in screens. It's only like palette changes when you get later levels and a little different. It changes like the screen up a little bit, but it's not that much change. But on the other hand, it's so hectic and so many sprites on the screen, it feels really modern that way. So it's a nice mix.
Yeah, I agree. I like the fact that there are other components on the motherboard that help you to not... So, for example, the critters or whatever, which, again, real life, because I repaired so many electronics that have insects in them. So it's really... It's like, it's real. But there's like components on the motherboard that stop the critters coming forward as well. Like they have to go around it, they don't go just over it, which is pretty cool as well, because you can use that maybe to your advantage.
Right, yeah.
I'm looking also at some video preview, and I noticed some small but nice ideas here and there. There seems to be some invisible bugs at some point.
Right, yes, they are, but yeah, very late in the stages. And if there's like lines, they're not invisible. They're actually the same color as the PCB. So,
but
for example, if
like
the PCB is orange,
or something.
If the PCB is orange, then if they walk over like the bright, how do you call those traces? I guess?
The traces, yeah.
Then you see the traces are, for example, light orange.
Yeah.
Then you see like the shadows going, like the dark orange going over those traces. So then you can see them. So that's interesting.
And what's up with the dark levels? There's some level at
sometimes the lights just go out, and then you only see the critter. So and not the objects in the level. So you have to remember how the level is orientated, and then you just kill all the critters. Yeah, it gets really crazy. It's really fun. I really love this game. It's a big recommendation. At first I thought, well, this is pretty basic. It's just like shooting some critters. That's it. But I really got into it, and actually I managed to beat it like 5 minutes before we recorded the show, and I had really a blast doing it. And I feel this game will be even cooler if you play it on real hardware and on a CRT and
multiplayer. I think
multiplayer and co-op. It would be really fun.
It looks like an arcade game, you would say. Yeah.
Yeah, it also has that classic points system, so you can play it as an arcade game. The only thing is, it's. I never seen a high score board, so I don't know if it saves your high scores. It should be. I don't know.
I don't know.
Also, when you die, you can just restart that level. So, in one hand, it's really nice of them that they do that. On the other hand, it's not like arcade games. When you game over, then you just have to start over.
So this is not trying to rob you from all your money, is it? Yeah, so
right, the difficulty gets pretty low if you just can restart the level over and over again. The only thing what happens when you game over and you restart the level, you don't have the meters full anymore. So if the filled up meter transfers to the next level, and also your grenades. So if you have like a very full meter and go to like the power bar is full and you go to the next level, it's still full. So you can use it directly in that next level. So that could be an advantage. And if you just game over and start over again, everything is down to 0. So that's the only thing which is making it a little bit harder to start over the level, maybe. That's why I just, it was pretty easy to beat this game for me. But the fun thing is, I thought I saw on, I think, the Homebrew Game Club Discord, someone was asking about if there is a hard mode. So that made me wonder, and I was digging in the manual for it. And there is, when you go into the manual, there's something written into the memos. And that maybe is a pointer to get how...
this mysterious thing.
Yeah, there's like a pen drawn. Someone just wrote in my manual. I don't know. Maybe that's a pointer to...
maybe it's a bug.
To get to the hard mode. I want to play the hard mode.
Okay, yeah.
So, it's a pretty simple game, but... Well, let's say the premise is simple. But yeah, the execution is very nice.
Yeah, so, also I see when they're shooting, when you shoot in, then how do you say, the like sort of rifle, machine gun, whatever you call it, very fluid, very beautiful, and also again all the sprites are around the screen. It's just like I mean, I wouldn't say necessarily this would have been possible to make. Obviously, it would have been possible to make back in the days, but such a fluid animation and stuff with the shooting is really good.
Right, yeah. And if you, for example, shoot diagonally and you hold the button to shoot, then you can strafe around. So you keep shooting at that side. So it's really, if you get used to that system, you can really aim pretty well. Especially at the bosses, you have to shoot them in the eye. Then it's nice to have like a diagonal shooting and strafing. It gets like second nature. It's really, really well executed as well, the controls.
Yeah.
I have like nothing to complain about this game.
It's also quite not innovative, but it's not another platformer. It's not a puzzler. It's a bit
right. It's something else. Yes.
So I like, and the execution of it literally brings it a level above as well, because the glitch screen, even if you just watch the video, is annoying. So it is really annoying. So they've done it really well. It's what I'm trying to get at. So
yeah, I don't know. It's also like when it glitches, then you know that someone is attacking your CPU. So that's nice. That's a nice indication. Like, yeah. For me, and the screen shake is also really nice. If you throw a grenade, it gets like the screen shake. It's a big oomph, like it shakes all around.
Yeah. So
explosion
I had a
feels
quick
good.
go at this game just to know what you were talking about, really. And I think I didn't really, well, literally, I probably played 30 seconds just to know what the game was about, right? So I did it. And I remember that I just shot with the fire button, and it just shot, I think, what was the grenades. And then I ran out, and I couldn't understand what was going on. And then I just died.
You're pressing the wrong button.
I didn't know. Yeah. It's just so basic, this thing. I just tried it for that reason. That's all. I just wanted to see what it was. But it does look really good. One of the few games that brings a bit of novelty, let's say.
Right. Yeah, and it's only 20 levels. It's maybe a bit short with 4 bosses. But I think the replayability, I really want to play it just again. So it's really nice to play it again. And I think if I would like to play this, for example, with my son or something, it would be nice to do. It's really just a nice really little game. And I want to check out that hard mode, which apparently is maybe there if you look into the manual. So I haven't checked that one out. Maybe it's a bit harsher. But it gets really hectic in the end. It's like you're winning with the skin of your teeth, or how
nice.
What is the saying?
It's
I don't know.
Best feeling though. Yeah.
So
is there a counter for the waves? Do you know how many waves there are? Or
no, but I
is it always the same number of waves?
I think so, because I always got the feeling that I was there almost or something.
Okay.
You get the feeling when it's done, or I don't know. So there's no counter to indicate when it's done, but I don't know. It's just a certain feeling. Maybe the waves get bigger and bigger, and then it dies off a little. I don't know. I just feel when it's almost done somehow. So yeah.
What a nice game! What a nice game!
Nice game. Yeah, and it's $10 on itch.io. For a digital copy with a manual as well, a digital copy of the manual. And I think there's also an installer for Mac and PC, so I don't know what that is. It says native Mac version with NetPlay and native Windows PC version with NetPlay. So you can actually probably play this multiplayer online as well, which is nice.
Yeah. Looks
the
good.
ROM size is only 40 kilobytes.
As opposed to what? I don't even know how much is...
Let's see. What's Super Mario Bros, which is a very small ROM size.
We want to know what the biggest one is like. Like if they're advertising it's so small.
The original Super Mario Bros is 40 kilobytes.
Okay. Well, so it's as small as Super Mario.
Yeah, which is impressive. Really impressive.
Yeah, with all the effects. Yeah, it's again, I think it's really done very well.
You can also buy a physical copy still on... it says 68 in stock right now, and it says can be back ordered as well on Broke Studios website for 50 euros.
Nice. I like it.
Which... Yeah, it's
maybe
fair,
you can sell your WonderSwan games and buy. I already sold those, I know, but you can buy this game.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. It's a really nice game. It's small but good.
It's a good one. Yeah, I
highly
like
recommend it.
Good. I for what I saw, I thought the same. Just a quick glance, I just thought, oh, this looks good. Yeah. Right, on to the next.